They're going to play hard, though.
They will play hard. That's what we know about Jedd Fisch's squads. Okay, wrapping up the Big Ten with the Wisconsin Badgers year 2 for Luke Fickell and at FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can make every moment more. The over/under win total is at 6.5, over at -144, under at +118. Danny, why don't you bring us home?
Better team, same or worse record. So I have them under. I think they'll be better last year at a lot of positions. I think they'll be better on defense. I'm concerned about the Tyler Van Dyke experiment. Just don't know where he is mentally or kind of just where he is as a QB to execute in this offense. Like if I can trust him. And then the schedule is probably the biggest issue that I see. Starting with that September 4th game against Alabama. And then some of these, again, this was one of those ones where I hope I'm wrong, but I also had to even out the over-unders. And so I went under, but I would lean under anyway. But I think the schedule is brutal for Luke Fickell year 2. When he needs a schedule that kind of gets some positive mojo, it's not coming anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm on the under as well. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the schedule plays a large role in it. You get Alabama at USC, you've got Penn State, you're at Iowa, you've got Oregon. It's like you don't have to play Ohio State and Michigan, and that's wonderful, but you're paying the price for it in other areas. Then also just roster-wise, we've talked a lot about Tyler Van Dyke on this show. Is he the kid that he was as a freshman? He hasn't been, but this will also be, regardless of how you feel about him, this will be his 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years. And that's hard on anybody. But the reason to be optimistic is that the offense he'll be running here is very similar to the one he was running under Rhett Lashley when he was a freshman at Miami. So maybe they can tap into that. It's just, I like Will Pauling. I think CJ Williams has potential. But overall, I'm not overly high on the receiver core. I think the offensive linemen will be fine. I have concerns about their front 7 defensively, and that has been something that Wisconsin has typically been very good at year in and year out, and that's something Luke Fickell teams have been good at year in and year out. So there's reason to think that that'll work itself out. But right now, some concerns. I do like the secondary. Honestly, I feel like the secondary might be the one area of this team I am the most confident in. It's just when you're in the Big Ten, I don't know how much that matters, but they do have to play Alabama, USC, Oregon, so it will help them in some games, but it's just overall, I think this is probably a 6-6 team. I think that they can get to 7-5, 8-4 if things go well. If Tyler Van Dyke gets back to his old self, I think this team could really play, do a lot of damage. It's just based on what I see now and what I know now, I feel like 6-6 is more likely than 7-5.
Agree with Tom there. I'm a little bit less gun-ho about betting this under because of the positive reports from Van Dyke. I've been reading Badger 247. Nick Osen and Evan Flood do a great job there. And in the spring, I was like, oh, I'm definitely betting under Wisconsin. And I still am, but like a little bit less so now. I have them as underdogs in 6 games.
Yeah.
So that's, you got to pull an upset just to go over. Now they're small upsets, but I mean, they're also like a small-ish favorite at Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not laying double digits in Piscataway, right? And I mean, what are they hosting Minnesota?
Oh, come on, that's a win.
How they like? I mean,
how's the crowd in Madison on a season that's below expectations?
Cold.
Really drunk.
I will. You know what? I think that Madison's pretty good, although I will say at times when things aren't going well, that student section does empty out a little early.
It's a cool town, right? So
yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff. It's honest to God, if I'm power rating college towns in the Big Ten, Madison's #1 by a mile.
That's a great town.
Mm-hmm.
Can you walk from the stadium to the bars?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
warm.
That's one of the many big problems from North Carolina football. I mean, you can get to Franklin Street. It's not that far away.
Yeah.
So under?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm not betting it, but I'm gonna lean over, and it's because I'm not ready to chalk up some losses that I could see as losses. I don't love the fact that getting there is going to require going on the road and beating a team that you're either going to be an underdog on or a not huge favorite. But I am buying into Luke Fickell. I mean, it is just, I do not think that after seeing the way that he handled the Cincinnati program, both the success and just the way that he built that thing up, I just don't think that they're going to have another 6-6 type year. They very well could, because the schedule's tough, but I'm adding just a little, like, as I'm trying to split hairs in those games that are going to be like the Iowa game, the Nebraska game, like coaching edge. Like, does Luke Fickell have a coaching edge against Matt Rule?
I think so. Yeah.
Doesn't have a quarterback edge, I think, is the
Doesn't
bigger
have a
problem.
quarterback edge, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm just kind
He
of
could though. I mean, like if Van Dyke's bounced back, like we still need to see Dylan play.
Mhm.
right. You know, in Iowa, you know, what's Tyler Van Dyke's the best quarterback on that field?
Is Nebraska's DC edge bigger than Wisconsin's OC edge?
Oh, that's a great battle.
I don't think so. I think Wisconsin's edge is bigger.
Yeah. So I'm a slight lean to the over here, and but definitely not rushing to bet it. A lot of this coming down to trust in Fickell, and that team just to not fall as short of expectations as they did last year, because there were 2 WTF games for Wisconsin, horrendous injury luck. So ever so slightly to the over, but again, not going to be something that shows up on Thursday's locks. All right. Anything else? Final words? All right. Woo!